race to become New York City's next mayor is heating up. It's a crowded field with more than 30 candidates. Joining us is mayoral candidate and former counselor to Mayor Bill De Blasio, Maya Wiley. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Mayor Bill De Blasio can't run again because of term limits, but he's been criticized by millions when it comes to how we govern New York City. Why do you want the job?
Okay, I know that this city can be one where we can all live with dignity. And that's critically important, particularly to Black community, because right now we are looking at hundreds of thousands of people facing eviction. We're looking at unemployment rates at 25%, and we have 1.5 million people hungry. Now, what we know is that we get it done. Black women. And it's time that we have a leader in City Hall that puts our communities first and does it by partnering with people, because this city will come back. We will recover. The question is, will all of us recover? And that's why I'm running. So we all do.
So my next question is for you. If you had to grade, because you did work under Mayor De Blasio, if you had to give him a grade on how he's done, what would you grade him?
Look, it depends on the issue. I'd give him an A+ for universal pre-K. I'd give him a failing grade for policing. And I think we all saw that this summer when we watched police officers, more than two dozen of them lay siege to the apartment building of a Black Lives Matter activist, Black man, who used a bullhorn at a Black Lives Matter demonstration. That was his crime. And they didn't even have an arrest warrant. And that went on for 6 hours. And that was just one of many abuses that simply did not get called out and challenged with the kind of outrage that our communities deserve, that our people deserve, because it was unconstitutional.
So how would you change that? If you are elected, what do you plan to do to correct that?
Well, first of all, I would have a police commissioner that was on mission. And mission means protecting and serving all of our people. And I would restructure the police department, because right now we have police who respond to mental health crises in our communities. And what we need them focused on is things like illegal guns coming into our communities. But that means right-sizing the police department, not having 911 calls go to the police department, when what we need to set up and structure is mental health interventions in our communities. We have so much trauma. We have so much pain, and we have increasing gun violence that in part requires an understanding that it is trauma that is far too often part of the problem, and that we have to make it easier to get a job than a gun. And we have not done that yet, and that's what I'll do.
And where do you plan on getting the money to do this?
Well, first of all, New York City is spending $90 billion a year, even in a crisis, and we're going to keep spending some of that money. We have the opportunity right now to do what I'm calling for, which is a new deal for New York. We're going to raise and spend $10 billion on capital construction. If you remember, this is what Barack Obama did to help pull us out of the recession of 2008. It is stimulative, and I have run that through economists. We'll create 100,000 new jobs, but we're going to do it differently from other administrations, because not only are we going to build what needs building, we're going to focus resources in communities of color and make sure that we're aligning our workforce development dollars with projects. We're going to have local targeted hiring goals. We are going to make sure we're supporting our businesses of color with what we're contracting for. And all of that is going to put money back in the economy, not just of the city, it'll help the whole city, but also in our communities. And that's the kind of leadership we need to ensure that the 2/3 of this city that is Black and brown and immigrant comes back along with the rest of the city.
Now, Maya, New York has only had one Black mayor ever. That was David Dinkins, who recently passed away last year. Some would say you have a tall hill to climb. But as we've seen, 2021, the year of first, with our first female VP, first Black woman in the White House. Why do you think you have a chance?
Well, first of all, I just
Tell
want
us
to
about your
celebrate.
background. Yes.
I want to celebrate Vice President Kamala Harris because that matters. But this is the thing. I, like Kamala Harris, am an attorney. I went to law school to be a civil rights attorney because I'm the child of activists in the civil rights movement. And I've dedicated 30 years of my life to making us fairer and stronger and more just, specifically for Black community and for all communities, because if we don't fix race in this country, we're not fixing this country. And it's true of gender as well. So here's the thing. Black women have only had mountains to climb. It's all we've ever done. We are the cavalry in a crisis, and we're queens until it comes to being acknowledged as qualified.
Mm.
But we've never run or shied away from that. And we can't, because what we need in a historic crisis is historic leadership that pulls us together, focuses directly on what ails us, and cures it. And we're not going to do that unless we confront race and gender in this country and in our city. And we're not going to do it unless we do it in a way that calls us together. And that's what Black women have always done. And that's why I'm proud to have the support of so many amazing Black women leaders.
All right, Attorney Maya Wiley, mayoral candidate for New York City. We wish you all the best, and we look forward to speaking with you soon about the outcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to being back as the next mayor of New York City.
Love that confidence. Have a great day, and thank you again for joining us.
You too. Be well.
Talk about men